In this video, we have a sticker set from SticklabelRC. We're going to be putting it on this 10th scale body and going through any tips or tricks that we have along the way. But if you've never heard of SticklabelRC, it's all online order, like via Facebook Messenger. But there is a website, and you can get in touch with the guy that runs the whole thing. He has many, like literally like 100 different designs that you can choose from. This body is going to be for my son, my younger son, and so he was really interested in this dragon design. It's got a little cherry blossom in it and everything. Like, it's a really just immaculate, very detailed design here. And we're going to put it on this body so that he can upgrade and have a nicer looking body than what he does on his car right now. We're going to start by getting a bunch of this cut out. So you just have to cut all of these sections, get cut around it as much as possible. And then we're going to, set them up there and try to see what they look like. Time for a super duper sharp knife and some scissors, and we're going to get a lot of this stuff cut out into smaller bits. We have almost all the parts cut out, at least roughly cut, and we know that we want this big piece here on the side. We have the dragon up at the top. James is choosing for the tree to kind of be offset to one side here. We know that we have some of these pieces that are going to go here in the front. We have another piece here that goes in the rear. I mean, it just stacks up. There's just layers on layers on layers of stickers here. But when it's done, it's going to look really good. We're just trying to figure some of this out. Obviously, these sticker kits are one size fits all. So it's kind of like, well, where on here do you really want this to sit? What do you want visible? What do you not want? But we know we want the dragons. The dragons are part of the key thing. So we got to worry about, like, how are we gonna align this forward and back. I think we're gonna start with the top dragon. That's easier to hit. Maybe this piece up here, lay it out. We got to worry about where we're gonna cut it, how we're gonna trim it, because it goes way off the front bumper right now. Maybe do some of these smaller pieces first and leave the big nasty piece for the last. So we need to lay this here. So James, is this really where we want this? You gotta really look. So kind of centered here. It's looking pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're gonna try to peel this gently. But we don't want to peel the whole thing. We want to peel just a little bit. Okay. So I'm gonna peel just back like an inch or so. Okay, and then we're gonna kind of lay the non-sticky part down to kind of reconfirm where we want it, because now once we set this,
It's pretty
much over. So we're going to set that right about there. We're going to go ahead and push it down a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to peel just a little bit more. Just making sure we don't get any air bubbles, no wrinkles. More as we go.
Oh, I think we got a wrinkle.
It happens. It'll be okay. Recognize it's not going to be perfect. Okay, and I'm not going to worry about pushing this down over here where it goes across the window, because I'm going to cut that off anyway. Look at that! We're getting a piece on! Look at us! Look at us! Alright, now we're going to use... I have a heat gun. Honestly, I think this is too hot for what we're doing here, but it's what I have. And then I'm going to use this little tool, not for the sharp little pointy bits, but for the rounded edges. And we're going to just gently hit the sticker a little bit with some heat, and then use this rounded edge to push it down into any junction, down into any body line, and you can just see the sticker get softer and kind of go right into these cracks. So that way it kind of conforms to the body. So now I'm going to be very careful here with a very sharp knife, fresh blade in here. And I'm going to follow right along this body line. Gently, 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 gently pushing, because I don't want to cut through the body. Alright, let's see if we got it. We're going to pull off. Ooh, that didn't work. If we can get it, we're going to pull. There's that part. There we go. And pull off that excess sticker. Here. Okay. So we want this something like here, right? Now I'm going to let this tree stick back off, back here in the back, and then we're going to cut that later. Slowly just working it in here. Now, I've got a lot more texture here on the hood, so we get close to that texture. We have to be really careful. Yeah. So got a big gap right there. You may have to come back with a knife. Okay. And there's little parts sticking out like this. No. And you can see it when we're up close, I'll get like right here, but you can't see it. You can see that back, just a little bit, you don't see it. Just here. And a little bit of heat right here, and I'll roll it on this. See that? This tough part right here. I'm going to try to push in here first. Yeah. And then we're probably going to have to make a knife and slit right here and let it fold over. Because that's an air intake. Like in full-size car, that's an air intake. You wouldn't leave a sticker over the top of your air intake where you couldn't get the air in. See how that pushes right down on that crack right there? It really smooths that out good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, that gets really hot real fast. So we're going to come in here and just gently, gently, gently cut right there. And then see, will it push? Will it push down in there? See that? It kind of folded over there. So how are we going to do this? We're going to lay this here. And you can put it as far forward as you want, really. I mean, this is the cool thing. I mean, you can have it up here and have it wrap the front a little bit if you want.
I don't want it to wrap that far. I want it to like that.
Okay, so think about where it is. Think about how you're going to set it. So this O kind of overlaps right there on that body line.
I'm going to say that this little line right here.
Touches that line. That's how you're going to line it up. Okay. Do you just cut it off straight, or do you wrap it first?
If we wrap it, we just can't see it in the first place, so we don't even have to cut it.
You don't even have to cut it off. We just use it to help hold the body on.
Sure.
Help hold the body together. Ta-da! There you go. You don't have to wrap it off. Now, what we'll do is we'll hit it with the heat gun and get these little cracks right in here. Moment of truth with a big one. We got to lay it down on here. We also got to make sure that the dragon's head doesn't get lost up over here. We don't want to like cut the eyes out or anything. So really important, front to rear. Make sure we're not cutting any words off. So there is a lot of texture in the side of this thing. There's a fender, there's a lower trim panel here that has to roll over a lot. That's really, really hard to get that sticker over. So it comes up through here following this, fender flare out. Getting it to try to go into that, very, very difficult. There's a door handle here right where his mouth is, which is kind of funny. And then it looks like I'm going to probably come through here and trim. I'm going to trim right here. His nose sticks up just a little bit past. I'll let it stick up there on the black trim of the window. but take it off of the window proper itself. I don't know if it's better to actually cut these edges or try to roll them over. I don't know, like long-term durability wise, which one's really better. I've done a mix so far on it, so I guess long-term we'll figure it out. If you're watching this like a year from now, let me know down in the comments and I'll let you know how it's held up. There it is. Check it out. That looks so awesome. Shout out to SticklabelRC for creating such awesome things that really help us set our drift cars away from the norm, help them stand out. That is absolutely amazing. Mistakes were made. It certainly does not look perfect, but there's a few tips that I think if you were going to do this, that I would recommend for you. First recommendation, patience. Cutting these out, the more detail that you cut out, it seemed like the easier the sticker was to lay down. Patience as far as picking out and laying the pieces out and really thinking about them ahead of time. There's some things that I wish I had done. There were some other small little pieces like this that if I had really thought about it, I probably would have layered in underneath the dragon here, but I didn't. Because I didn't think about it, right? I didn't think about it till later. And so now it would look silly if I tried to put them back. So there's a few things like that where I'd almost suggest cutting the pieces out, laying them down, maybe even like roughly taping them with some masking tape to the body, and then like sleeping on it for a night before you came back and actually decided to put it on. Because I think you might find a few of those things like that that I missed in this situation. Heat is a big benefit to you. I think this heat gun, even on the low setting, probably too much. So if you have maybe just a hairdryer could work really well, but once the sticker's laid down, once you're starting to press it in, that heat was just, it would soften it and would really let it go into the contours of the body. So heat is a very, very good thing. And so is something to push it with. I imagine that people that do this and are really good at it are probably cringing that I used this little turnbuckle wrench. But it was small, it had tight little radiuses, and I was able to easily maneuver it to get into some cracks and crevices. There are a couple times that when I pushed on it too hard, I could rip the livery a little bit. And so you do need to be careful with that. I found it was overall much tougher than I thought it would be. I thought it would actually rip very easily, but it actually did not. It was quite strong. I was able to heat it and push on it a lot, and it took it for the most part. Yes, there's a couple of the really deep, really big movements that I was trying to make with it where it did rip, but honestly, you can't tell. You can't tell, even from just a foot away, you can't tell where it was, so it's okay. And if you follow my Instagram or Facebook, you'll know not the first one of these I've done, actually. So I did reach out to SticklabelRC, and I was able to ask them to shrink one of their liveries down to 18th scale, and I'd be danged if they didn't. And it looks absolutely awesome. I will say that this smaller car with the hard body was actually a little bit easier because you could push on it. You could push on it, and you know, the hard body, you know, provided some resistance. Look at this. So if you are interested in 10th scale, then reach out to SticklabelRC if you're looking for something smaller. Also, in both, honestly, I don't remember what he charged me for it, but I remember thinking that it was underpriced. It was definitely underpriced, shipped to my door for what I was getting out of it. So really, really, really love it. I think this is a great way to set your drift car apart from everybody else that's there at the track. I'll have a link down in the video description straight to the SticklabelRC website or Facebook groups where you can get in touch with the owner and get your own livery and get it on your own vehicle, because you can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. I promise. And it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be good enough and people are going to love it. So I'll leave a link down there to that. If you're curious about anything else that I've done kind of drift tech related, there's a pop-up that's going to be coming up over here to your right. Click on that link and it'll take you into that playlist. So thank you and goodbye.